Day 1567. What's going on? Mushroom Gang in the house. Union Day today, and yeah, it wasn't a great deal going on. There's some upcoming things like this conference that's happening, and a whole heap of motions that are going to be put forward at this conference, and you have to try and familiarize ourselves with the motions, and there's a whole load to get through. I definitely didn't get through all of them, so I'm probably, as I guess other reps are doing, I'm probably gonna have to do this in like my own time, because I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like, today was a bit of a struggle, man. I mean, most days are a struggle, but particularly the whole working from home thing, and I think just even in general, just with my role in this job, and obviously the union stuff is, it's, whilst technically you could say it's part of the job overall in a sense. Obviously, it's yeah. In general terms, it kind of falls under the umbrella, but it is two separate things, My actual job that I do versus the union stuff, yeah, they're two very different things. But even with the union stuff, which is obviously a lot more laid back and less pressured for the most part, just my focus generally, man, like, it's been waning for the longest time, you know. I need to get a new job. That's the crux of it. My time is very much coming to an end, and I suspect there are things on the horizon which, as I did say before, is going to be, it's going to make contradictory and polarizing thoughts and feelings rise up within me. Very contradictory feelings of both relief, but also, I guess, anxiety, hesitancy, and sadness as well. Combination of both sadness and happiness, I think, because as I think I said before, there is a need for me to move on, just one from a financial standpoint, but also just to kind of stretch the old grey matter a bit. Like, don't get me wrong, there are so many cases that have never come across my line of sight, which could, even just the other day I dealt with a case that I don't think I've ever dealt with, and if I have ever dealt with it, it must have been years ago, because I don't remember ever dealing with a case like this, which kind of really engages your mind and gets you thinking. But for the most part, what I'm doing day in, day out, I've been doing. Yes, various things have changed, like policies and procedure, and the systems that we use and how we go about things. But for all intents and purposes, I'm doing what I have been doing for like the past 10 plus years. It's just in a, in a bit of a different wrapper, you know? It's a bit more complex than that. I'm kind of, simplifying it a bit. But yeah, at its core, the role that I have done and am doing, I've been doing, man. And 10 years is a long flipping time, man. Like, even someone of my age, like, it's a lot more common for people who are a fair bit older than me to have been in jobs for this amount of time. People who are my age and definitely younger, most of them, you're not seeing them in a job for more than 2 years before they bounce because they're frustrated or bored or, whatever else. Whatever other adjectives there are out there. Adjective or verb? I don't even know anymore. My brain's not working. Let's have a look. I need to double check that. Frustrated, bored. Adjectives? They're adjectives, right? Of course they are. I'm sure they are. Hold on. I don't know. What's going on there? Um,
posting these pictures from one of them showing the president with Jesus, one of them maybe showing the president as Jesus. Is it possible to
oh
kind
well.
of gauge how some of those images are being received
Hold on.
by Catholics and by
Sorry.
Christians?
Well, we've
Bow,
seen
bow, down.
several members of the U.S. Catholic
We
hierarchy
do it?
speak out against, firstly, the president's comments
Frustrated,
directed
bored.
toward the Pope, but then also, yes, that image that Trump posted and then quickly took down from his Truth Social account, where it appears that he is posing as Jesus. He's claimed that he was a doctor, but you have seen members of the U.S. Catholic hierarchy speak out against that from all across what could be considered a political spectrum, from more progressive, more conservative prelates. What has been really interesting watching the Catholic landscape is seeing how these differing groups
Yeah,
within
it's
the
an
Catholic,
adjective.
within the
Right,
Catholic
cool.
hierarchy,
I thought
they
as
have
much.
in a way
Okay, I'm not quite as dumb as I thought I
in their
was.
support
That's
for
good.
the Pope and in their condemnation of the
But yeah, man.
president's using these kind of imagery to portray himself appearing to be filling in this role of Jesus.
Yeah, and Justin, have we seen
I'm trying to.
anything like this in the past? Can you put this into
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. So I guess just kind of watch this space, really.
That's right. Popes have spoken out. The one
Anything
example
else?
that comes to mind is when
It's
John
the
Paul
middleman.
II very famously
So,
attempted to prevent the 2003
I sent the stuff over to him. He needed.
sent over a Cardinal Pio
In the
Lacci
end, I could have
to
just
Washington
sent the
to
statement.
discuss,
Well, yeah, I was fine just to
the
send the
invading
statement from the current account, which he was fine with, and then a little statement attached to that. And it's funny actually because he said that all checks were done, but the reason I'm sending this over is because they require an up-to-date statement just to see that the account's being used and all of that, but also that it's not connected to him, that he hasn't, it's not a joint account with him, and that there's no power of attorney in place and all of that, which, yeah, cool, makes sense. You know, they want to make sure money, you know, the stuff's going to the right person and it's not being compromised. But it's just when he said that, you know, all the checks are done, it's like, he described it as, well, this isn't a check, it's just them doing their due diligence, which is still kind of a check. Like, it may not be classed as an official check, but it's a bloody check, man, you know, for all intents and purposes. Even if all the official checks are done, you need this because you need to check that, yes, he's not going to be getting any money because he's not his own client. Was the client of him, and the money's supposed to be going to the client directly, not to the middleman, you know? So it's still a bloody check, man. So yeah, I think he said he's forwarded it off to the people, but obviously it got done quite late, so he said he'd touch base with me possibly tomorrow, which ain't gonna be happening. Failing that, then Monday or Tuesday, so I'll expect to, if I don't hear anything by Tuesday, I will message. So yeah, I don't think anything more needs to be done, but he said he'd let me know if anything else more does need to be done. Let's watch this space, shall we? No excitement. Anywho, it's day 1567. Catch you tomorrow for day 1568.